Is that an iPhone in your hand?
Dude, it's the S10. Don't you see it? Calm down. Calm down.
Making sure. Challenge isn't over, buddy. Challenge isn't over. So let me ask you the first question as we're going over the summary of the S10 challenge. When I first offered you the challenge, what was the first thing that came into your head?
I think the first thing that came into my head was, I can't do this. I mean, 30 days without my iPhone was sure. But then without my Apple Watch as well, like you're taking everything that I'm used to and just throwing it off the ground. So it was just something that you totally got me out of my comfort zone, which I'm going to thank you. I've learned so much about Android. And once again, we'll talk about all of this. But the first thought was like, I can't do this.
At some point after I challenged you, I decided that I also was going to try to do my own little challenge with myself. I decided to switch from the 10s Max, which I absolutely love as the device, to the Galaxy S10 Plus. So I kind of have been there along with you, and I wish I could say I've been equally miserable, but for myself, this has not been a miserable experience aside from the major decrease in workflow when it comes to certain things in file sharing. That was kind of a pain in the butt. But I got some other questions for yourself and some stuff that I think maybe my audience and your audience might want to know as well.
Let's do it.
For every heavy Apple user, right, which I'm one of those people as well, we enjoy and love our ecosystem. Before you took on the challenge, what did you think the hardest part or the biggest challenge of breaking your ecosystem was going to be? And my follow-up question to that is, now that you've gone through the challenge, what do you think the biggest challenge of breaking the ecosystem actually was?
Well, I guess the hardest part is leaving the actual ecosystem behind. Now, what is the Apple ecosystem? I guess for me, it's iMessage, and so many people were texting me on iMessage, and I could literally only read my iMessage when I got home at my computer at night. So I was literally not replying a bunch of people. I'm like, it's not that I'm ignoring you. I'm literally just not using my iPhone. And then it was AirDrop because I sent so many files over. This is actually a good example. When I was filming, what was it? I was filming an unboxing video. I forget what. And I actually filmed the whole top-down shot with my S10. And then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna AirDrop this to my iMac. And I'm like, wait, I can't use AirDrop. So what do I use? And then I use Google Drive, which is, pretty good for certain things. But then the file size was too big to use it on my mobile data. And that was a mess because I couldn't use my data. I couldn't use Wi-Fi either because I wasn't home. And then I had to, and then I actually plugged it in with USB-C to my iMac, and that I made it work. But it was a pain. Maybe I just don't know if AirDrop equivalent to Android. I looked it up. I didn't really find any. Is there actually a way?
Not really a good way. There's a lot of third-party apps out there. Now, Samsung has this little feature called Create a Link. You have to have a Samsung account and you have to be signed in order to use it. And you can only do up to 2 gigs, which, as we know, recording in 4K, 2 gigs is about 2.5, maybe 3 minutes of footage. So if you're out about in your mobile and you're trying to capture something, it's not very effective. So I can't make any suggestions. Maybe somebody from one of our audiences can jump down in the description and they can educate us. Let us know.
So apart from that, it was iMessage and AirDrop. And then I guess I was going to marry my AirPods and Apple Watch combo. So then my Galaxy Buds came in, which we're going to talk about that in just a second as well. And then I actually decided to get the Galaxy Watch Active, which I still haven't reviewed in the channel. The Galaxy Watch Active is okay specs wise, but the actual software in this thing, if you compare it to the Apple Watch, it's so bad. There's so many things that I just don't like about it. It's not a bad smartwatch, and for the price that you're paying for this, which is 180, 200 here in Spain, it's a good deal, but it's just not a good experience if you compare it to the Apple Watch. The Galaxy Buds, though, the Galaxy Buds are really good. I was actually pretty surprised with the Galaxy Buds. I don't really like the fit, but that of course is my personal preference.
You don't like the fit?
I just don't like how they're really in there. Sure, they're okay for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, but then I can't wear them for more. I just don't really like it for
Oh,
more. It's just personal preference.
I can't
But
even wear AirPods longer than 5 minutes because they all fall out of this ear. So for myself, I much rather have the buds that fit in my ear and are a little bit more snug. I think that the Galaxy Buds are definitely hands down a better buy. They're a better product and they have more features than the AirPods. And they are really a one size fits all type of thing. And I think
mm,
Apple really needs to address that not every ear is created equal and that we all have different size ears. And once they address that, I think that they'll be able to step it up. Now, I don't know about the AirPods 2 or anything, but compared to the Galaxy Buds, but the ambient noise reduction and the ambient
yeah,
noise feature was pretty
yeah.
cool. And I was trying it out and I was having fun. Now, going back to the active watch, right? In order
Yeah.
to appreciate how good, right, Tizen is right now, you need to know where it came from. And the first Galaxy Frontier watch was garbage. The only thing it had going for itself was it did have a really good battery. And now I think we're on the third version of the Frontier. Now here's the Galaxy Watch, and it's better than it was. And sometimes, that's the evolution of a product. Whereas, if you look at WatchOS, how many updates does it get? At least once a year. It gets a WatchOS update, sometimes twice a year. So,
Well, I mean, yeah, a major update, we get them once a year, but we get a bunch of small updates like once every month. So it's actually pretty good.
but yeah, so I think that where they came from and where they're going with it is in a good place. But I also agree if people are like, which ones do I get? What phone do you have? Like
Yeah.
your devices are made to work with each other. Let them. Don't make them
Yeah.
work with a device it's not meant for. Don't get an Apple Watch and force it to work on your Galaxy phone because you're going to lose important things like messages and some other
Yes.
features that I've been told. So, what did you like most about the Samsung Galaxy S10? And I keep saying the S10, and let me preface this because I want to make sure, right? You had what I believe an unfair advantage over Drew with the Pixel Challenge. And this
Hmm.
is why. Drew had no skin in the game, right? I sent them the Pixel 3 XL. Whereas you had a couple $100 in the game because you were like, hey, if I give you some money, will you bump me up to the S10 Plus? And I was like, yes, I'll bump you up to the S10 Plus.
And the ceramic one, and the ceramic
And
one.
the ceramic one. So you
Yeah.
want to kind of upgraded yourself a little bit. So you had a little bit more motivation to complete the challenge
Yes.
because I don't think you wanted to pay that money and then give me back the phone. So
Hmm.
that did happen for everybody out there that wasn't aware. We didn't talk about it, or it really wasn't a big deal. I was glad to do it because I wanted him to have a good experience with the device. The point was to pull Apple World out of the Apple world.
I guess my favorite thing about this, and it's not really S10 related, is me, a personal preference with Android because I've always talked about Android. I've always trashed on Android, but I never actually fully tried it out for a whole month.
What?
Incredibly,
This is
I
I remember you did an unboxing of a Note 9, correct?
the S9, not the Note
The
9.
S9. Okay, the S9.
Yeah,
And how long did you use that phone?
man, it was like, I mean, I never technically I used it for a week and then I kept it on my other pocket, but my actual SIM card was on my iPhone and I took some photos here and there. And then I used the
Question.
Google Pixel 3. Now the Google Pixel 3, and I guess I can just talk about it now. I prefer the Google Pixel 3 experience wise rather than the S10. And don't ask me why. I don't know why.
It's because it's the Pixel 3 ripped off those gestures and they made you feel more at home on the iPhone.
Maybe yeah. But the camera on the Pixel 3 is also, I mean, the camera on the S10 is also amazing. But basically, what I wanted to tell you is that Android, I've actually tried it for 1 month, and I can officially say that I actually like Android. When an Apple user tries out Android for the first time, they simply don't like it because they're not used to anything. There are so many settings that you can change, so much stuff that you can play around with. and it's just not a good experience if you only try it for a couple of days. If you try it for a whole month, you don't touch your iPhone. And I wanted to thank you, man, because you've opened up my eyes. I like Android, and that's my favorite thing on the S10 challenge is that, I finally gotten to notice that Android is actually really good. Not as good as iOS in my opinion, but still amazing.
I think if you were to say anything else, you would have a riot on your channel. So for all I know, you might like Android even more, and you can't admit it. So I'm just going to tell myself that you're in love with Android, and
No, 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 no.
he's afraid to come out of the Android closet, guys, and we're going to let him stay in it with his Apple ecosystem protecting him.
No, that's not it. I know, but I was really surprised with the camera. It's actually pretty similar. The iPhone XS camera with Samsung Galaxy S10. The cameras actually, they look pretty much the same except in night, which the S10 is not really good at night. I feel like the iPhone XS takes way much better photos at night. The wide angle selfies is something that I love on the S10, and it's something that I wish would come to the iPhone. I mean, wide angles.
They need to go there. Apple really needs to go there with that front-facing camera. I think all flagships, for what they're charging us right now, it needs to happen. It needs to stop being an option.
Yeah, and like when I'm taking selfies on the iPhone, it's like I'm literally so close, and I'm like further, and it's like, I wish I had my, S10 or the Google Pixel 3 or whatever phone I was using. But yeah, I just really like that. The speed, like when phones get faster and faster, I don't really notice the speeds because who really uses all the speed that our phones or flagships actually offer us? The design of the phone is awesome. I mean, I like the punch hole in the display. It looks really good. In hand, it feels premium. Of course, the ceramic version feels really way much nicer than all the others. I can actually charge my AirPods 2 or my Galaxy Buds straight from the phone, which is crazy. Or I can actually share battery. I shared battery with a couple friends the other day, which when they really needed it. So the S10 overall really, really impressed me, like a lot. I didn't think I was gonna like it this much.
So for someone who really liked the device, I kind of want to drag some dirt out of you. What did you hate the most about this device or experience?
There's something that I really don't like about it. So the infinite display is something I don't like because at least me with the S10 Plus, I keep triggering certain things. I turned off the edge display because I was even triggering it more, but I'm still triggering because as you guys can see, like I'm literally holding it and my skin is touching, this part, which is not really good at all. So annoying. But apart from that, I mean, the battery, everything about the phone was great. Right now I can't really think of any other things that really, really bother me. Of course, certain Android things, but I really want to get into Android because you're asking me about the S10. But
now I know that you miss the ecosystem, blah, blah, blah. So the question is, did you ever download Android messages and then you try to use messages on the web as an iMessage alternative? And
yeah,
did you know it existed?
I know it existed. I actually searched it up, iMessage on Android, because I was actually thinking of making a video, but I never actually tried it. It's something that I want to try though. I just haven't had time.
Okay, it works really well. I made a video on Android messages and it just blew up because I guess no one else made a video on it really well. So I'll go ahead and put that in the card right there. Bing! And you can go and check out Android messages if you didn't know it existed. Do you feel that your love of Apple products or the Apple ecosystem has ever prevented you from fairly reviewing other products in the past that weren't part of the Apple ecosystem? So I'm asking is, do you have an extreme bias, and does it prevent you from giving a fair review to other products?
I think I did, but now like my mentality is changing, and especially, with this challenge, like as I said before, like you've opened up my eyes with technology in general. And like, if you were to ask me this question maybe 5 months ago, I would have told you yes. I can't really review any other products. And any product that I reviewed in my channel, for example, is literally Apple fanboy reviews Samsung Galaxy S9. So I was always comparing, my experience to the iPhone, which I don't want to do anymore. I reviewed the Galaxy Buds like a normal, standard consumer instead of, comparing everything to the AirPods. So the answer is no right now. and I'm excited because I'm actually changing my name to the, from, it's not going to be called Apple World anymore. I'm rebranding to my personal name soon. I don't know when. Graphics are being made and stuff, but not yet. And I'm excited. I'm excited to just launch
So
my new personal brand, I guess.
Is this the first time you've talked about that?
I've talked about it in like a couple live streams.
Okay.
But yeah, it's the first time that I've ever mentioned it in a video. So
okay.
Exclusive right here.
Exclusive. So we got an exclusive scoop. Here's a question that's a little bit more broader than just the Samsung Galaxy S10, but this goes more in lines with being a tech channel or a tech reviewer, right? Do you feel that being in the space, in this niche, that it sometimes prevents you from actually giving a fair review to a product from the perspective of a consumer? Do you feel that maybe you're being a little too nitpicky or overly critical of certain devices or features?
Actually, like, that's one of the things that I actually really like about my videos, and I don't want to, I'm not saying by no means that I'm a best. I have so much to learn, but one of the things that I really like about
his own horn, insert here.
It's something that I always try to show my viewers is that, for example, the iPad Pro, I reviewed the iPad Pro versus the 2018 iPad. The iPad 2018 is worse than the iPad Pro. The iPad is $300. The iPad Pro is $900. So if you compare both, do you really need all of those crazy, awesome, ridiculously awesome features on the iPad Pro? And the answer is no. And that, I feel like that's what people make, reviewers make people think. Like, you need the most expensive things to have the best things. And that technically is true. But in real life, you don't need any of those features. Apple has just released heck of a lot of iPads, and the cheaper one is really good. And then the iPad mini is really good. Like, you don't need the latest iPad Pros for you to have a productive life. So yeah, that's another channel that I really like that kind of has the same mentality as me. I think even a little bit more is BMac. BMac is a channel that I'm
subscribe to BMac if you're not right now.
Yes, BMac is a channel that he only reviews products that he actually uses, which is pretty cool. Like, he does, if a new iPad comes out that he's not gonna buy, he's not gonna review it, and he's not gonna unbox it because he doesn't use it in his daily life, and he can't really give you his proper way of explaining, the way that he always does in his videos. I just really like BMac. BMac, shout out to BMac.
Shout out to BMac.
Awesome.
I believe I'm subscribed to BMac, so I get it. Right here, I'm thinking, and this was even before I made one YouTube video or I considered myself a tech reviewer. I would immediately, someone would come and be like, which iPad do I need? I would always say, what are you going to do with your iPad? What kind of computer do you have at home? That's what I would always see. Like, what are you doing with it and what kind of computer you have at home? If you came to me and you're like, oh, I don't know. I want to read a newspaper on the go. I would be like, go buy a Kindle. Don't waste the money if you're not going to use it. But to get the iPad, it really is a compliment to the ecosystem. And even if you don't have the ecosystem, it is still a great device. But I never steer anybody in the direction of the most expensive of anything. All right, Nikias, if I'm an Apple user and I'm thinking about going to Android, what would you tell me that I absolutely need to consider before I make that decision? And this is based off of your experience as having the Galaxy S10 Plus in your pocket for the past 30 days.
I'm going to say, don't do it. That's my answer. Don't switch to Android. I mean, unless you're really bored and you want to try out new things, which I totally recommend. I guess it's just be ready. Be ready to miss the things that you love about your iPhone, because you're not going to get them with any other phone. Doesn't matter if it's the best phone in the world. Doesn't matter if it's the best Android phone in the world. You're not going to get the same experience with your iPhone than with another Android phone. So you can get used to Android, but it's not gonna be easy. So make sure you get your Galaxy Buds ready. Make sure you get this pretty bad Galaxy Watch ready, and good luck, man or lady, because it's not gonna be easy.
Biased returns.
I mean, I never said that I was, gonna switch to Android.
Like pretty thick. I wasn't like, I was asking what I needed to know, not like talk me out of it.
Well, the thing is, like, I'm actually gonna switch to. I like this phone so much. I'm actually gonna switch to the S10 once in a while. But I just need my iPhone like now. Like I'm starting to get like 30 days without my iPhone has been really hard. For those of you who don't know, I'm actually building an iPhone app, an iOS app, and it was so hard for me not to actually be using the app. Not actually being able. There's actually notifications on the app as well. Not being able to receive them. Like I'm so ready to just leave this phone in my nightstand for a couple weeks. I will return to Android because I like it. I'm just ready, man. I'm just really ready.
All right. When's the official switch going back? Has it been 30 days?
Yes. It's been like 29, 28. I don't really know. But it's been like a month now.
All right.
Please. It's a new month. It's May
All right.
2nd, May 3rd, or May 4th when you see this video.
All right. So by the time you see this video, he'll probably switch. How about we just go ahead and get it over with right now?
Yeah?
Let's get it over with right now.
I did it.
Let's put that SIM card back in there, flip it on, make the announcement, and let everyone know. And let's see who notices your first Twitter post from Andrew or from Apple, because those Twitter police are out there.
Oh my gosh, it's so funny because literally every single tweet, every single person like DMs me like, "Why are you using Android?" Like it's every single tweet. I'm so done with it.
Are you not watching my channel? Do you not know what's going on in my life? Like, what kind of friend are you?
Yes. And by the way, guys, we will be making a whole separate video on my channel, so stay tuned for that because it's gonna be a good video. Hopefully.
Amazing. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I appreciate your time. If you like the video, consider giving it a thumbs up. If you really love the video and you want to see more of me, subscribe and hit the notification bell, or don't. I'm just really grateful you stuck around and watched the video until the end. For the love of tech, namaste.
Peace!